Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Crow, good old Drunkle Crow. Okay, and welcome to my new YouTube channel, my only YouTube channel. Wow, this is really awkward. I'm so behind on shit. But my only and new YouTube channel called House Bloodbang, where we talk about everything nerdum and geekdom under the sun. Now, mind you, I'm at work in the middle of my office, sitting here recording this crap when I should be working, but who does that these days? Really? Hell, I blame you, President Trump. We're not working today, just like you are not working to make this country any better. But political matters aside, from orange mandarins who like to fuck up all of our futures, we are here to talk about everything nerdum and geekdom. I know I just said that shit, but bear with me. We're gonna be focusing a lot on this channel on LGBT community matters, shows that if you do watch shows, or if we're not all streaming on our goddamn phones or on the internet or whatever the hell it is, or going on Pornhub, we're going to be sitting here talking about some issues, basically. And I've been wanting to do a video like this for a very, very long time. I've been wanting to tell this video for a long time. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. Of course, I could have pressed the record button and then just got drunk and then rambled to everybody and then pee-peed on myself, and it would have been awesome. I mean, it still would have came out great. But we're going to be doing pretty much a 4 to 5 parter on this, because I think this lady needs to be talked about in the community of nerdom and geekdom, and she needs to be talked about in her psychological kind of premise. We need to talk about her psychological premise. And if you have been living under a rock or under your mama's bosom or her breast and you haven't gotten off the teat yet, we are going to be talking about Legend of Korra. Yes, indeedy, for the needy. I know. And a lot of people are like, well, Crow, we've done a Legend of Korra video. There's several Legend of Korra videos. There's AMVs, there's everything. There's them scissoring on the beach of Island while some weirdo watches. There's everything going on. We don't need to hear any more about Legend of Korra. It's an old show. It's dead and the comics suck. Well, I can tell you, go home, take a nice wooden pole, shine it up real nice, and shove it straight up your candy ass. And that's from The Rock. I love you, Dwayne Johnson. I hope your movie Skyscraper makes it out good in the box office. Doesn't look like it is, but I still am moving. But moving on from that kind of situation, we will be talking about Legend of Korra. We will be talking everything that I could possibly cover. And you're going to be getting some perspective from me, and I'm going to probably be getting some perspective from you in the comments box. Probably calling for my crucifixion, but before that happens and you do the nails all through my head and everything else, and you just say fuck it and you put the spear in my heart, hear me out. The person that we're pretty much going to be speaking of on Legend of Korra is not Korra. I know, it's crazy. You're probably like, what the fuck? How are you gonna not talk about Korra in Legend of Korra? Her fucking name's in the fucking title. And if you don't know what Legend of Korra is, I suggest you go to Google, look it up, watch the show. Google is your best friend, as well as Pornhub. It is your best friend, but I personally like X videos. Now, if you're under the age of, I don't know, not, grown enough to hear this shit, you should click off right now. But moving on, moving on from that, it's just, I don't want your parents coming at me and trying to kill me. They're probably gonna kill me after this fucking video anyway. But y'all grown asses, your little grown asses shouldn't be on here. No way. This is grown folks matter. despite the fact that this show was made on Nickelodeon. And you know what? I should really stop contradicting myself and get to the point. Now, moving on, we're going to be focused on the mental and psychological aspects of Asami Sato. Yay! Everybody cheer, crowds, blah, 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 confetti. Okay, we're going to be looking at a mental thing and shoot me on the sidewalk and fuck me to the end of the block. We will be discussing from season 1 Asami Sato's point of view. A lot of people like to think about Legend of Korra and they think about Asami's mental, we don't think about Asami's mental point of view. We don't think about Asami's mental point of view because we're being told Korra's point of view. From her PTSD to her bouts, her faults, her losing her bending first season, her doing so much more. But we often don't get to see the supporting lady who is featured in Turf Wars 1 and 2 and Part 3 coming out maybe August or September. But Bright keeps on fucking us in the ass with no lube when it comes to a wait time. They say July, like they said July, it was supposed to come out. Well, they pushed it back to August. When they said August, they possibly might push it back to September. So ladies and gentlemen, don't hold your breath when it comes to them and carry your own lube. Like I'm saying, moving on from that, we're going to be taking an in-depth look with Asami Sato for season 1 only. My next video will be season 2, basically. And it's going to be pretty sweet, basically. Even though season 2 she didn't get much screen time, still, we're going to be looking at the beautiful lady nonetheless. Now, the way we need to see these things on Legend of Korra, the way we need to see it is, fuck Korra. No offense, I love you, Korra. Don't kill me, Korra. Don't bolt me with a boulder. Actually, bolt me with a boulder. That would be hot. I'm into that kind of shit. But moving on, we're gonna be separating everybody, and we're gonna be taking a whole analysis. So let's just jump right into this bullshit before I ramble too long. Asami Sato is a complicated character. And often we like to think that Asami Sato started noticing Korra at season 3 or the end of season 3. And that was due to the breakup with Mako after the fucking Love Triangle 2.0 from Hell season 2. If you haven't seen Legend of Korra, I suggest you go to pirate sites. I don't care. You rob an old lady to get the box set because the shit is awesome. But alright, but moving on from that, a lot of people argue, or say that season 1, season 3 is where Asami started with her attraction to Korra. Some ignorant motherfuckers just say it didn't happen at all and it was forced. And like I said, you know what to do with that broomstick. Shine it up real nice. All right then. I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of tea, meaning this tea is technically Hennessy. But moving on from that bullshit, a lot of people say it's season 3. For me, fuck me to the sidewalk. I say Asami's attraction to Korra, or to women in general, was season 1. Drum roll, please. Buddha, 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 Buddha. All right. Now, before you kill me and, like I said, crucify me on the comment section and go and hunt my family and shit, not that there's much of us out there anyway, because we're all batshit crazy and alcoholics and with some kind of addiction. Me, myself, too, I'm addicted to pretty much vodka and fucking Korra Tsunami late at night while I cry myself to sleep. Before you do that, hear me out. Now, I don't know about you, but as a member of the LBGT community myself, I have to explain to you what Asami Sato was going through mentally. Now, mind you, episode 4, season 1, a lot of people say, well, it generally happened with Mako. It generally happened. But I say it didn't happen with Mako. It didn't happen with Mako, honestly. Now, I don't know about you guys or anybody, whether you're straight or gay or whatever, but there is this thing of dating people whom you have no connection with, but yet you tend to still get with them, and you still tend to be with them, and you still tend to date them. And it is the same way for a lot of people in the LGBT community. When we first were starting out as young, as we were starting out as baby dykes, I call it baby dykes. When I was a young baby dyke, or little gay boys or whatever you want to call them today. I don't even care personally. I mean, there was a name for me back in my day, and mind you, I'm 27. I know I'm sounding like an old bitch right now, but I'm not being an old bitch. No offense to old people rock. Just stop ruining the country with that goddamn Mandarin orange in there. But moving on, back when I was in my younger phases, barely discovering my sexuality, or in my baby dyke days, whatever you want to call it, I dated a lot of guys I had no attraction to. And mind you, it wasn't just one race. I tried every single race that I could try before I came to the conclusion, I think I may like pussy. All right. And Asami Sato is no better. And what I'm trying to get to mentally is that Asami Sato, mentally, given her background, meaning she is pretty much an heiress to a multi-yuan factory or multi-yuan kind of corporation, which was Sato Enterprises. And if you didn't think people weren't looking at her in Republic City, they were looking at her in Republic City. And her situation was a little bit more different than a gay person's situation, because we weren't rich and our daddy didn't make the bootleg ass fucking Ford assembly line before trying to sell his soul off to Equalist. Moving on. It's like, moving on from that, we still can relate a little bit. Like, our stories, or us as individuals, our stories, how we live life and get up and brush our teeth and take a shit and piss and go to work, that we are the main characters in our own stories and livelihoods that we live. Asami is the same way. And she stood out on her own in there, despite that, it being about Korra. But she stood out on her own. And how she stood out on her own was she made choices for herself. But moving on from that, she is a woman or a young lady who has fame already surrounded by her. So mentally, quite mentally, Asami has this already perceived motion that she has to be this wonderful straight girl who's the perfect little daughter, daddy's helpless little girl kind of view, basically, that everybody is daddy's helpless little girl and shit. And that she is the dainty one, or she's very dainty and shit. And that, she has to date the perfect boy and all the above. So, we often do see this, I believe in, oh God, I know I'm crazy about Korra, Legend of Korra. I'm losing my grip on the episode. I think it's after the winter is. It's called the winter is. I think it was episode 7 or 6. Could be even 8. I try to avoid that season, even though I own it like the plague, but due to the love triangle and the dumb toxic relationship, but still, I still watch it because I still love Legend of Korra, and that tops it over that. But in the beginning, or when when Asami takes Korra race car driving, you do get a little bit of a perspective into her mental psyche, basically, that other people project her a certain way. And you're like, well, what do you mean? He's like, because when she does say the line, people assume that I'm a daddy's helpless little girl. But I've been in karate classes since I was blah, 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 blah. So you already get a sense that Asami kind of not cares what everybody thinks, but she notices how everybody perceives her. And what it adds to what she thinks from that, as to her inner turmoil about who she likes sexual orientation wise. So, thus we go to the point, if we took it forward, but we'll take it back. Thus connects to the point of when she hit Mako with her moped. Now everybody's like, I'm pretty sure, like you said, everybody's gonna be like, Crow, what do you mean? I'm gonna beat your fucking legs in with a tire iron as soon as you get from work, motherfucker, because you're smoking crack. It's like, maybe I was smoking crack, but let's run off from that. I'm not making a fan fiction. This is just what I'm seeing, basically. And I'm not trying to discredit Mako-Sami at all, the ship Mako-Sami. I'm not trying to discourage it. I think it still was brilliantly done despite the results. And I would never discourage what season 1 was and its integrity. But I'm just giving you my perspective, especially after watching this shit 36 times with my eyes probably bleeding and stuff, and I may need to go seek psychological counseling because I may have an addiction to Korra. But moving on, I will set up a Patreon if I need that. But I won't, because I'm a strong, independent woman who likes getting her own money and not from YouTube videos. I'm not a whore. But moving on from that, which leads us back to Asami hitting Mako with this moped. Asami, of course, hit him, and she wanted to make it up to him. And it could have stopped right there. But like I said, if you've ever been in an LBGT community and you've dated people of the opposite sex, in a certain way, you care about these people, if you do care about them. If you don't, then, oof, goddamn, you cold-blooded bitch. All right? You a cold-blooded bitch. But moving on, if you have dated people like that, you often do, to a certain extent, do use these people as your shield. You care for them. You're trying to be normal, and you're trying to care for them the way you do. You're trying to care for their anatomy, their spirit, their everything the way you do. You're trying to. But in a way, you're forcing yourself to do things, and you're pushing certain things that you don't need to be pushing. We've often done that sometimes in relationships opposite sex to people. And Asami is no better mentally looking at it. As like I said, when she took Korra race car driving, she opened up a little bit psychologically into her caring a little bit what people think. Asami's not perfect. It's not saying she or anything. She normally doesn't, but there are certain matters she probably does. And especially when it comes to her integrity and her pride and how her image looks, especially season 1. Season 2, she didn't give no fucks. And we're going to tell you season 2 for another video. But moving on from that situation, when she hit Mako with her moped, she made it up to him, but she took it further and further. They went out on dates. She kept him around a lot. Her father kept him around a lot, even though that nefarious motherfucker is a whole different story. But she kept him around a lot as like a permanent kind of fixture, basically. She kept him around a lot. And what she meant to do was keep him around. But I don't think she was keeping him around for him to protect her. She was keeping him around to protect her from herself. So she wouldn't go off into that area with her feelings. Now, mind you, like I said, people are like, well, how could you know she liked girls if she was this way? No, it's not that per se. It isn't per se that she all the way liked girls. But looking at the actions and how everything added up, you could tell she definitely was leaning on girls. I'm not saying that she's not bisexual. She may be bisexual with a strong preference to females. She may, or she may not. But for me, I feel like she, used the label of bisexuality to lean more towards females and to shield herself from the realities that she may like women a little bit more. And what leads me to my next thing on season 1, she never told Mako she loved him. She said she felt safe to be with him. And when she says she feels safe, yeah, that can generate love, but seriously, for the naysayers, the Korra Tsunami and shit, you're just pulling out fucking string out your butt, and that's kind of not really working. I think that terminology of her saying that she was safe with him, meaning she was safe to front in front of him. She was safe to front. She was safe to project the image that everybody wants. She felt safe, basically. But like I said, in all the times that she has dealt with Mako, I have never heard her say that she loved him. If you don't believe me, watch what I'm watching. Go watch it. Go watch it again. I know for a lot of people it's been about 4 or 5 years since it came out or something like that. I don't know. I drink a lot, so I lose a lot of perception on time. But for me, this analysis of season 1, what I have to come to the conclusion with Asami and her mental status is that she is in a vast kind of situation of denial. But she gets it together when she meets Korra, obviously. And she finds herself interested in wanting to spend time with Korra. But I feel like in her interest of wanting to, in her interest of wanting to get to know Korra, she had to be careful. But then that's why she dated Mako. And we got that fuck fest of a love triangle, season 1. So she probably felt like she could get to know Korra and feel like she was safe to get to know Korra and the Fire Ferrets team, and felt safe to get to know her as a woman, because she knew she felt unsafe, meaning unsafe sexually with her attraction to women, or in this case, Korra. Maybe Korra at this point, we don't know. But I'm pretty sure she was attracted to Korra first shot. In order for her to feel safe for her mini attraction to her, she could fall back on Mako. It's the same way if you're partying at a gay club with your gay friends, but yet you're not out yet, and they're out, but you have a boyfriend at home, and you're trying not to basically be too out to where, just in case your friends tell your parents or something like that. So you go around and you peek and you look and you make friends with these people, or these LGBT people, but you don't say anything, or you don't put anything out that you may be attracted to women or the same sex, and you fall back on your boyfriend. That's the thing. This is what I had to say, that Asami may be a bisexual, maybe, but more leaning towards women, which thus I say she's a lesbian. She was a lesbian questioning. Okay, that's just me. I'd say she was a lesbian questioning. But, like I said, leave your comments and everything down the line. I only can give you the point of season 1. If you want to kill me, sacrifice me to Lord Satan himself, or want to send me flying with the angels to Lord Jesus Christ, I don't know. Or you just want to send me into the void of fucking Ganoush, I don't care. Just leave, comment. Like they said, interaction is good reaction. Doesn't matter. So you guys stay tuned, basically. I will probably be discussing a little bit more of this on my part 2 video, going into season 2. But I feel like I covered up everything, and I covered it where it's at. That Asami was basically in denial. And tell me what you think. Let me know. See you later. This was Crow.